Hey guys, I have a special guest for me today with me on my Vegan Booty Talks. She is a mom of two boys, yoga instructor, and certified Pilates instructor. She have a background in cheer, dance, and gymnastics, and she is just athletic and competitive person. She is just beginning her fitness career and she went fully vegan. And I just want to talk today about all of this with Rachel Calandriello. I hope I say your last.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying my best with your
No,
last name.
you know
How
what? Nobody gets it. Nobody ever gets it. It's a miracle that I've gotten it being married to my husband for 10 years. So
so can you say it again? Rachel, what is your last name?
Calandrillo.
Calandriello. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Got it.
awesome.
Yeah. See, it took you like what, 5 minutes? It took me like 3 years. So you're doing far better than I did.
Okay, thank you so much. So, can you please tell us where you're from and what do you do for living?
So I am from New York, Westchester, New York, which is right above New York City, Manhattan. Um, and I've lived here actually all my life. And I'm still here currently raising my two boys.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, a little bit more background of how you actually start into fitness and what did you do before that or on the side of that? What is your main job?
So after college, I became a product development coordinator. I worked in shoes mainly. And I was actually incredibly unhappy working the hours that I was. I mean, some days we were there, 7 to 7. And, um, I thought that's what I wanted to do with my life. And my mom just looked at me and said, you know what? I'm going to sign you up for a yoga certification program. So I actually just quit my job and decided that I would take this time to do the yoga thing. And it was great. I mean, I went from being a smoker, I was eating just horrible every single day, because at 21, 22 years old, you could get away with like having fries for lunch and, maybe like a couple drinks at dinner and stay thin. And that was really all I worried about. And when I got into yoga specifically, my teacher told me, you need to give up this lifestyle. If you really want to change, you can't still have one foot in one life and another foot in the other. So I went ahead and I went, gluten-free at the time. I really tried to eat whole foods. And yoga is, again, that whole journey brought me actually to veganism because after I had my first son, I really struggled with infertility. Uh, I was 24 trying to get pregnant for the second time, and it wasn't happening. We were doing the test, we were doing the ovulation tracking, and my doctor was like, okay, well, if you really want to have another kid, IVF is the next option. I was incredibly stressed. It was about a year and a half that we had been doing this. And I went back to yoga and I said, let me just take a break. I felt like I was stressing myself out. And that is when, we went back to veganism actually as a cleanse type program for the mind, body, and soul. It was gluten-free, vegan, soy-free, no alcohol, no caffeine, looking at the concept of ahimsa, which means do no harm in Sanskrit, doing no harm to yourself through alcohol, caffeine, anything of that matter, but also doing no harm to the world around you and keeping animal products out of your diet.
Wow. Have you have any problem with having your first baby?
I did not. I actually had started to compete in bodybuilding at the time. I was training for my first competition. And, looking back, I laughed because I had gotten so sick of the standard body diet of uh, chicken, rice, and vegetable. And I had a couple protein options that I was allowed at the time, because at that time I wasn't doing macro. Now I was just doing, here are your options. And I actually switched to tofu, believe it or not, because I
Wow.
was just so sick of just the constant like egg whites, and looking back at it, it's disgusting because I grew up never liking red meat, never liking eggs. My mom actually tells stories about when she was pregnant with me that bacon made her horribly sick and she craved salads. And now look at me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, this is an incredible story. Let me back up a little bit. And what's actually interesting for me is that you was prepping for your first ever show, right? Just like you said, and you was getting sick of all those the same food. And I feel you, girl, because it's funny enough, but I was always prepping for the bodybuilding show as the vegan, because I did start bodybuilding career already being vegan, but I was remembering how I get sick of tofu.
Mhm.
Because I was having a trainer and she was absolutely zero in vegan nutrition. So the same thing what she was giving me every day is tofu. And she didn't know anything other protein sources that has a protein for vegans. And I was terrible. So I know what you mean by chicken every day. So when you was having that, you said you was having your first kid. So these two things not go hand by hand. So
Yeah.
how does that happen?
It's funny because, you look back and you're like, oh wow, like it's crazy that, you know, I switched to tofu because I was so sick of everything else. And then I had my first one. Um he was, I think I say, like, given to us by the universe, because God knew that we needed him at that moment, but he certainly wasn't planned like my second one was. But there's a really behind it. I actually like hate ketchup more than anything. And I looked at my husband and I said, in prep, and I again, I was getting sick of everything. And I looked at my husband and I said, you know what? I think I'm just gonna try ketchup on this tofu because I'm so sick of the mustard. And he looked at me and he was like, you go take a test right this second, because there is no way that you're eating ketchup on your own. I know you get wild
Wow.
cravings with the type of person that can't even, like, you can't sit next to me. You have to go someplace else. Yeah, and now looking back, because I decided to do my cleanse into veganism, I mean, the real reason we kept it is because we felt so good. Um, and October 1st is when we started the cleanse. I'll always remember that because it's an easy, almost 6 years ago. And it ended the 21st. We kept our vegan diet um, through Thanksgiving. Even we told my mom has always been super supportive of obviously anything I do, any transitions I'm making in my life, and she's always ready for me to make healthier choices. And she made an entirely vegan Thanksgiving for us, which was incredible. And that morning, I found out that I was pregnant with my second child, not even trying. So,
Wow. So that was the first thing what I was happy about to show up on this podcast, right? So
yeah.
after that happened, have you checked with your doctor and what they say about why is actually vegan diet has helped you to get pregnant, or they don't believe in that, and what they actually said?
So my doctor basically said, hey, if it worked and you didn't have to spend the money, then why even question? because IVF, it starts to get pricey.
I'm so
I will.
sorry. I'm so sorry. It was a connection lost. So what did your doctor said?
Oh, so sorry. Um, he basically told me if it works, great. He didn't question it much. I did lose a ton of weight on the scale, but in my body, I looked relatively normal. I lost 8 pounds from, day one of the cleanse to the end. And I really stopped weighing myself after that. It was just the beginning and after. I tried to stay off the scale as much as I can. I think there must have been some sort of inflammation in my body that I didn't know I had until, you know, I did this cleanse. And actually my husband, being incredibly supportive, actually did the cleanse with me. So for all we know, it could have been either one of us or perhaps the two of us together. After going through what I went through, I've done a lot of research. There are a lot of stressors in the body for men and women when it comes to infertility. The antioxidants and the foods that we're eating, the fruits and the vegetables, versus men who are eating lots of dairy and meat-based products. The antioxidants help keep the sperm alive and healthy and working really. And for women, ovulation can be hindered by dairy and the hormones that go into it. The antioxidants, again, in things, because we really brought our diet down to fruits, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. Not even gluten, we didn't do gluten. So we were doing like the banza pasta and edamame and stuff like that. So I think it was whatever, there was something blocked within one of us that just released. So whatever it is, I'm thankful for it. I changed my entire life because of it.
No, absolutely. Yes, this is an incredible story. And I think you're absolutely right. As the nutritionist specified in vegan diets, I see a lot of changes in health when people come to veganism. So I'm sure it's helped. And it's helped not only you get a kid, just change your lifestyle and lost so much weight.
Yeah,
Did your husband also lost some weight?
he lost 30 pounds in the 21 days that we were supposed to be on that original cleanse. I'll say, I'm always trying to be the vegan that I wanted to meet rather than the vegan, that's pushing through everything. And he does go back and forth. He's an attorney, so there's a lot of steak dinners that tend to happen in his life. Whenever he's not feeling well, let me tell you what he straight goes into. I gotta only eat the food that you make at home. I gotta keep to the vegan diet 100%. And he does, feel a change when he's in that way. And my kids as well we're very open and honest with them about, what, pizza, birthday parties. It's a struggle sometimes, when you're the vegan parent in even though New York is so diverse, Westchester, not so much. So it, being honest with them, I think, has been the best way to allow them to be themselves. And more often than not, my child, buys lunch at school, but he will buy the bagel with butter and then, throw away the butter. I tell him not to throw away the butter. I tell him to give it back, but he still throws it away because he's 7. But, he'll buy a bagel and he'll just eat that, with whatever fruits I give him rather than, the ham sandwich, because he just
Yeah.
knows that the ham is dead animal. So he tries to, he realizes that, veganism isn't just a style. A lot of people come to it because they love animals, and I kind of came into it in another way. It was health first, and of course I love animals. 2 cats, which we love, and We are very, we keep leather out of our house as much as we can. Old stuff we don't throw away because we think that that's also wasteful, but we always buy V first.
Yes, yes, absolutely agree with you. And this is amazing that your kids have a choice. I'm always
Mhm.
for the choice for everyone. I don't think that the vegan diet is only the one diet is the best on the planet, which is truly in my heart. I think so, but I
I
never
agree.
gonna, yeah, but I never gonna say that some people is cannot follow the other diets. You know, they all have a choice. So that's great that your kids is not pushed to choose vegan diet, right? That they have a choice. That's amazing, and I think you're a great mom. And
Thank
I
you.
just, of course, and I just want to ask you about this cleans, right? So this 21-day, you said. So I can only imagine like being a standard American eater, right? Then decided to go vegan. So is this cleans give you a specific meal plan or how you actually figure out what to eat as a vegan?
So there's no meal plan. Um, it was very much self-imposed, which, I love a good challenge. So for myself, I was able to really, thank God for things like Pinterest and the internet, because we can be so well informed these days, but also sometimes overwhelmed with a lot of information. So I would think of the things that I liked. So for example, we're Italian, if you couldn't tell by the last name. So we love pasta. So being that we were on a gluten-free vegan cleanse with, all these things pulled out of it, I said, okay, like, pasta. So we got the banza pasta because that we could have. And then I said, okay, tomato sauce. And we did the tomato sauce. And I said, all right, so I have a protein, I have my carb, now I need a fat. And then I found, that there was a cashew cream. So it was just kind of about finding these things that I had before and figuring out how I could veganize it. That seemed to be, for me and my husband, the best way to make it easy in our life. I think 10 years ago, maybe it would not have been so easy. Especially like, fingers and mac and cheese, like all those things we had. We did have like a 2-year-old at the time that we didn't, in the beginning, we like started like microwaving things for him so that he could have his little meatballs and stuff. And then we said, wait, why the heck are we eating a certain way and then feeding our kids something else? That doesn't seem right. And then he became vegan, and then I had a vegan pregnancy. I breastfed vegan. We drove to Brooklyn every weekend for donuts so that our kids could experience, the delicious of Dunkin'. But at this place called Dunwell Donuts in Brooklyn that had all vegan donuts, and they've had the Dunkin' donuts and they prefer Dunwell's hands down. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that the biggest thing for switching to veganism is finding what you like and just being able to substitute it now. I mean, they're really, people say cheese, but I really think that cheese is really just the salt and the fat. So you couldn't find something else that's as obtainable,
Absolutely, yes. And then this is a great example. I thank you for sharing that. Like, if you want to try vegan diet, you can just try to substitute some of your favorite dishes with the vegan replacement. And that's going to be the first step, the easiest one, I believe, because it's nowadays
Mhm.
super simple. It's so easy, honestly. I'm vegan almost all my life. I don't eat meat from 9 years old, but I was eating fish and dairy all long time. But when I start my vegan diet, there was not as many options that is right now. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. And even those options was there, they were not as good that is right now. So
Listen, the vegan meats are coming into every fast food chain
yeah.
on the market. There's really no excuse. And I like I said, be the vegan that you wanted to meet. You don't have to be vegan all the time. You can be vegan curious. I think that that's at least, a step in the right direction not health, but the entire country, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much for saying this. Yes, a lot of people too much focus on being perfect. Like, oh, I cannot do that. It's too hard. But you shouldn't do that for like forever. If you want, just add one plant-based meal into your diet. That's more than enough to save our planet already. Right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, and you know, I have this conversation with my kids all the time because being a mother in such a strong opposing view to the rest of the world, um, you know, they say, well, isn't being vegan healthy? And I try and say, you know, no, honey, like being a vegan, you can be unhealthy. You can eat Oreos and French fries and you can be vegan. I said, but what we want to talk about is, you know, something that I think that a lot of Americans aren't talking about is getting fruits and vegetables into your diet and making that the you know, it's not the burger on the plate you want to worry about. It's the, you know, broccoli and everything else on the side. And I had a great book. I put it by me so I remembered to talk about it. But this like changed my life. This book, Vegan for Life, it helped me
Mm-hmm.
through my pregnancy. And it really talks. You know, it was nice to be pregnant and start my vegan journey because I had to really focus on the micronutrients before the macronutrients. So I had to really focus on making sure I got my folate, my B12, my D3.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, having that kind of conversation with our children of, you know, it's not about like if you accidentally had cheese on your pizza at, you know, what time. It's about, you know, did you eat the carrots on the side?
Yes, absolutely. And I think you're so successful in your vegan pregnancy because you look at that. So I want to know
Mhm.
about this book, like who did wrote that?
So it's called Vegan for Life, and it's by Jack Norris and Virginia Messon. See last names Messina,
Hmm.
Messa. And it actually talks about not just being vegan for your life, but in all stages of life. So as a child, the my little one breastfed until he was 14 months old, completely exclusively did not eat any food, not because I didn't try, because Lord knows I was like keeping up every hour with him. It was 90th percentile, but he just wanted to breastfeed, which was great. And then I wanted to go back to work. So we had to stop that. But, you know, with my doctor's permission, we switched to a plant-based milk because there's options out there. And, you know, even as like young teenagers, like they have different needs than a child or an adult. That's in this book as well. I think it was a great starting point, and then to work with our doctors and to, you know, make sure that I myself through my pregnancy and breastfeeding got regular blood tests to make sure that I was being safe. And then my doctor, my son's pediatrician now, he thankfully is young and well informed, and, you know, didn't ask me if my kids got enough protein, but asked me what doing about a B12, what I was doing about a D3, what I was doing about iron, which
Hmm.
was really comforting to hear. um,
Yeah.
which is why we stayed with him. Um, but yeah, I think being well informed, like information and the knowledge of filling up that cup is always the way to go, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yes. And then we're gonna add the description below this book, right? And making sure that people can also buy it. Did you got it on Amazon?
I did get it on Amazon. It's, oh gosh, it's probably relatively old now too.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, well, 2011. So it's been around 10 years, but it's not too old. But yeah, it's been around, but I don't think that it's something that a lot of people know about. Actually, another vegan mom on a Facebook group told me about it. So I
Yeah,
will
yeah.
I'll tell you the book.
Yeah, because I check on Amazon right now. I didn't see it in the first couple of books, so maybe it's not in there, but we're gonna find where is that, guys, and we're gonna provide the link. Okay, now let's talk about your fitness a little bit deeper. So how your life changed from that first competition and being a yoga instructor to today?
So obviously went from weighing out my food in ounces and having a very limited diet to I'm now, tracking just my macros. I work with Kaylee Obert. She is a Cupcake Muscle on Instagram, and she's part of Team Pro Physique. She helps me keep my, macros in check. And honestly, I'm happier than I ever have been tracking my macros than weighing these foods. The science behind it makes more sense to me. That being in a calorie deficit is the way that you're going to lean out. And honestly, the recovery is just different than I've ever felt before. I know you didn't meet my husband, but he was an Olympic bodybuilder, a weightlifter, and a boxer.
Wow.
So actually, he, prior to us having kids, but when he went on this vegan diet, he actually did a bodybuilding, or I'm sorry, not bodybuilding, a weightlifting competition, and got second place, being 10 years older than most of the people who were competing at the time, which was,
Wow.
yeah. So I'm sure you feel this as well. The recovery is almost instantaneous. I'm never sore. I'm eating more than I ever have on this prep than I did prior to. So my original prep was 8 years ago, almost to the day. And I look back at how much younger I was and how much more energy I, should have had. And, now I'm full of it. I can get through, my cardio, my training. I would have to take naps. And now, like, I'm taking my kids to the beach and the pool and the park, and we're going to play soccer in the afternoon. It's very, very different. And I get to eat cereal, which makes me so happy.
You like cereal?
I love those. Have you tried the Three Wishes cereal, the cinnamon flavor?
No, I don't think
Oh,
so.
it's good. It's so good. Um, it's amazing.
Okay,
And
so
my kids love it.
yeah, it's like a
Yes.
cereal called the brand called Three Wishes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna check this
And it's
out.
yeah. You asked
Oh,
me what one of my favorite protein sources were, and that I consider that a protein source at the point because it's got 8 grams of protein, so not
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I see that in your questionnaires. Yeah, I was like, what? She likes cereal as the protein? I was like, it's a little
Yeah.
strange. So that's good that you clarify here. Okay, awesome.
Yes. I have several different like protein ones that I've found. A lot of cereals are now putting pea protein into their cereal, or chickpea flour. So I have one, and then another brand that I really enjoy. I'll have to share with you all these fun little things. Maybe I can send you some stuff.
Yeah.
Because yes, I saw you posting about your waffles this morning, so it made me think of
About what? It made you think about what?
oh, that you were posting about your carbs and your waffles this morning on
Yes.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it made me think of that when you were asking me my favorite proteins. I was like, oh, cereal for sure. That's my it's lower in carbs, so I was like, I have to tell her those secrets later.
Oh, no, I actually that's a big fan of waffles. Never actually usually eat them for the breakfast. And that was just
Oh
the
yeah.
one. Yeah, it was just the one thing I was like walking on a Whole Food and I was like, oh, vegan waffles. I didn't eat that in a while. What if I gonna buy the repeat coconut cream and
Mhm.
waffles and have a nice breakfast? And I did, but it's absolutely stupid idea because it's not full you. I felt hungry and I ate a tons of calories. It's a bullshit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yes, yes. Um, I agree with you. I've definitely found that like volume in my food has been the number one thing that has changed from this prep to from last prep. Um, prior to this, the standard bodybuild diet are very small meals. I mean, almost sad at this, as sad, get it? Standard American diet. They're sad meals. But they were always very small, very dense. And I find that, for I have a garden, and I had tomatoes and cucumbers and lettuce and all these things that I normally would have never had. And I put dressing on it, some tahini, and that was my lunch. Um, and I was almost so full that like I I wanted to like sip for a second. Of course, my kids were like, "No, mommy, we gotta go." So, but I never felt like that on prep. I never felt full, and to feel satiated. I mean, I'm early on still, but to feel satiated is a very good feeling, and to feel a lot of vitality
Yeah.
because you have a lot of micronutrients that are going into your system.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about fiber content. Usually vegan meals is much higher in fiber. And I always, as a nutritionist, recommend vegan diet for people who really loves to eat and want to lose weight
Yeah,
because it's not
that
for
one.
everyone too. Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because that was one thing that like I noticed when I first came to veganism is I was having, a second and a third bowl of pasta with dinner and still losing weight without trying to lose weight. And my mom was like, "What are you doing?" And I was just like, I'm just eating all this food, mom." Like I can't even tell. Yes, veganism for people who love to eat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I have a struggle. Honestly, not everyone like that. I have a clients who don't want to eat a lot. They just not
Yeah.
hungry. So we
Mhm.
should, reduce the fiber and make sure that have nice macronutrients in in a small amount. But
Mhm.
for anyone out there who want to get into the prep and live in calorie deficit, that's for sure an option. So tell me now, when is your show? Like, what is the prep about?
So we're looking at November 6th or November 13th. So I have some time. I mean, I'm feeling way more ready than I was last time, so that's a good thing. And then hopefully again, I'll be competing in the springtime. I want to have a short improvement season. I just want to get out there. I say, it's not a typical, 12 or 16-week prep for me. It's been like an 8-year prep of me trying to get on stage. So I'm very ready. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you didn't finish your first prep, right? You got pregnant and you never got on the stage, right?
I never got on stage. I actually, I hate to say it, but it's so common for women to lose their periods when they're in prep, and they do it so quickly that I didn't think anything of it. And at 2 weeks out, I I had that craving for ketchup, and I mean, I'm glad I found out when I did. I'm glad that you know my some of my teammates laughed at me because I couldn't get my bottom abs to come in, and I was so frustrated. And I mean, now we know why. Meanwhile, I'm now not even 12 weeks out, and my bottom abs are already in. And so the big difference. But yeah, so I never got on stage. I'm really looking forward to it. And it's exciting actually to have my kids be there. Because my older one um loves ketchup. So we always tell him the ketchup story because mommy knew. They're very excited for me. They think I'm very weird that I'm taking pictures of myself in a bikini every Tuesday when I check in. So I'm excited for them to see what it's all about eventually, and not think that mommy's a weirdo that walks around in her bikini and heels inside the house.
Yeah, that's incredible. The woman like you inspire me so much into the fitness because
Yeah.
you have kids and it's hard, and then you have
Mhm.
work, and you on the side of all this you compete. It's incredible. It's just so much work you do, and I'm sure your kids gonna support you, and you're gonna be a great example for them that you can actually achieve any dreams, any desires. And I'm sure you're gonna shine on the stage as a star. You'll be looking amazing. I know your coach and I trust her. So it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh, it's so great to hear that from you. It's truly a compliment. Appreciate that.
Absolutely true. So we already kind of say what is your favorite meal. This is a cereal, right? And we
Yeah.
kind of touch on the proteins, but could you extend on that? What is your favorite 5 proteins as a vegan?
So it's hard to pick, because I really do try and um, eat a variety of foods, especially when I'm in prep, because it can get really boring sometimes when you have to be very specific on things. I love the bacon tempeh from Light Life. I really love that. I love um, the the cereal. I really, really enjoy, just regular protein shakes sometimes. Like a good protein powder goes a long way, in coffee in the morning. That's my go-to for me. And I really love, mixing that into desserts as well. I mean, I think it's a great way to get your sweet tooth in. And, bean pastas are really, pasta is part of our, just basically my culture, and my husband's as well. And then I don't know if anybody's ever said this, but like spinach, I love spinach. And 5 ounces is 5 grams of protein, and it's also, I think, 6 grams of carbs. So it really tends to be like, if you need the same amount of carbs and the same amount of protein, you can do high volume with it, or you can do low volume with spinach, because spinach, baby spinach, you could just cook it down into nothing from a big, 10-ounce container. So that actually, spinach is probably my number one next to
Wow.
cereal.
Yeah, nobody
Yeah.
say that. That's amazing. I never
No.
think about that. I mean, I
Yeah.
love spinach too, but I just never think that could be a really protein source for vegans. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
Awesome.
well, and the greens also have so good things for your gut bacteria as well, because I always think holistically over time. I want to do the things I want to do now, but also like long term, I want to feed my gut bacteria. So greens are always a big part of my diet. Great fiber source, great iron source, great for the skin. I'm not a big like greens in the water type of person. I've tried that as a supplement, and spinach just works better for me. And I can grow it outside of my garden in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, and pick it and eat it at will.
Yeah, awesome. Yes, everyone's maybe not have a garden, but we can all buy spinach in the store. It's cheap.
Yeah. Well, and or you could just grow it outside the window. It's easy to grow. But yes, it is very inexpensive, and it goes a long way. You can throw it in your, smoothie. You can throw it in
Yeah.
your, it really, you can throw it in anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I actually was wanted to try to grow something on my balcony, and Hawaii is not the best weather for that spinach or for something like that. So I
But
could
outside,
grow
inside your house.
inside is always AC working. So a couple of my gardens has
Yeah.
died here and I don't want to try anymore. It's broke my heart when put all your time into this and then it's never work. I think it's
Yeah.
something about like what's really great to grow in Hawaii is mangoes.
Oh,
And
I mean,
yeah, so
yeah,
I think I just
mangoes
choose yeah, I think I just choose the wrong, wrong vegetables.
Well, if you ever come back to New York, then I'll help you out. My mother-in-law calls me Mother Nature because I have a very green thumb. Yeah.
Yeah, I maybe just need a teacher like you. I'm so bad at that. So maybe it's just I do something wrong, you know?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome talking to you, but we have to kind of close it up. Before I let you go, I have one question what I ask everyone on my podcast. I'm sure you heard that. So what you're gonna do is it's gonna be the last day of your life on this earth.
Okay. What am I going to do on the last day of my life on this earth? I am going to take myself and my kids, and we are going to spend the day together doing our favorite things. We'll probably wake up. We'll probably go to Champ's Diner and have a great decadent diner filled vegan fest. And then, we like to play soccer, and honestly, my husband calls it football. American football is football. So we like to play soccer. So I think I would just spend the day with them doing normal stuff and pretending life is normal, especially if I knew that tomorrow I wasn't going to be there, and then I just hug them close.
Oh,
Like, is that a lame answer?
it's
I hope
absolutely yeah.
I would just play. That's what I would do. I would just eat and I would play.
You make me cry. It's
Oh,
a beautiful answer. Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Because it tells me that you're a happy person and you love so much your kids and your family that you're gonna spend your life. That's the way every day is can be a last day. And
Mhm,
that's the bad I think is the reason of life because we have to
mhm.
live every day as like the last day. So it's thank you so
Yeah,
much for this answer. That was so sweet.
I've loved to you. It's like the moment that I like saw you on Instagram and connected with you, I just knew that you're one of those people that like when you want to bring people around you and into your life and you just want to like gravitate towards their energy. That's you. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, thank you. It's really sweet to hear that because I do that for that reason as well. I kind of want to connect, especially through all this COVID crisis. So I want more people like you, like this energy around me as well. So I'm so happy you felt that too. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so nice. That's such a nice compliment. I appreciate it.
So let's go to some small game before I let you go. I gotta take two things and you have to choose one. Okay?
Okay.
Coffee or tea?
Um, tea. Yeah.
Black or purple?
Black.
Gym or outdoor?
Gym.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Juice or smoothie?
Juice.
Wine or water?
Wine.
Chocolate or sweet cream?
Oh, chocolate.
Kiss or hug?
Hugs.
Love or sex?
Sex.
I love it. Great. Yay. Thank you so much for those truth
Thank you.
answers. And that was just a small game to let people know you a little better. So if someone want to follow your fitness journey and just your vegan lifestyle journey as well, how they can find you.
So you can find me on Instagram at Rachel Begins Fit Here. It's RachelBeginsFithere. And then I've been considering YouTube because I realized besides me, you, and one other person, there's not very many vegan bodybuilders on YouTube. So maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe some people have to hit me up on Instagram and give me that push.
Yes, you definitely should show up yourself more because you are amazing and your story is amazing. So I really want people to follow you, and then I would be happy to see more of your videos and pictures and some things you can share about your vegan pregnancy and vegan kids. Like growing up kids vegan is really not a lot of information about that out there.
Yeah.
So I'll be happy to support you, and all the information about how to find you is going to be in the descriptions down below, guys. So go and follow this
Yeah.
amazing girl, right? And I want to say thank you so much for finding time. We have quite a bit hours difference, so I know you have to be in a
Yeah.
bed already.
Oh, no. I know, I can hear my husband like lurking up and down the hallway.
Yes, I'm so sorry for keeping you long.
No, never apologize for something that nobody's mad at you about. You are totally fine. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed that.
Okay, and I maybe hear you soon. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye.